So this is our second Hangout, and we actually have quite a lot of stuff to cover once we recovered from our surprise. Yeah, so thank you for joining. We'll be putting this online a bit later, but we'll probably just won't do it anymore with Hangout on air. So very practically, we've got first the announcements and news. Then I'll talk a bit about Drupalaton, about the workshop we had. Then Kata is going to talk about the newsletter she sent out. Then we've got the announcement of the iOS app, and Zolly is going to actually do a demo. We have the developer stand-up with a little bit of talk about the development that happened since the last time. And then we have the walkthrough of the week, and that's when we talk about you. So did Peter already get his t-shirt, or we still have to send it?
He sent us his address and
yeah.
the details, and we are on to send.
Okay, cool. So let's get started. So first of all, when was it that we had Drupalaton? That was 27th? That's like only a week ago? That's like 2 weeks ago, 17th, yeah, okay. So 2 weeks ago at Drupalaton, we did a workshop for Walkthrough.it, where we talked, where we basically introduced how you can make walkthroughs, how you use parameters and all those things. It was a live it was a live workshop, so we also had people joining us in online, and it was actually really huge success, because from the 70 participants that were there in the workshop, 34 actually registered on the site, because those were the ones with a laptop, and the other people just joined in and looked over somebody's shoulder. We played 230 walkthroughs during that time frame. We created like 119 steps were created during the workshops. Was that all the steps or just the manually created? I guess it was all the steps, right?
I think it's all the steps. Yeah.
And a total of 66 walkthroughs were created. So that was really good, I think. We also did a poll about the name for the project, and everybody, basically there was a big majority that said that we should stick with Walkthrough.it and not switch to WalkHub, which was something that I had been thinking about, and just basically keep both brands for the project. So we're going to do that. And then yeah, and I think that was in very short what happened at Guest Hay. There was a lot of other stuff that happened at Guest Hay, but what happens in Guest Hay stays in Guest Hay, I guess. Okay, so I think Kata, can you maybe give us a quick update on the newsletter?
Yes, actually last week we sent out our first bi-weekly newsletter. We'd like to make it as a regular thing, so in this newsletter you can find news, events, and community news also. And we also like to ask everybody's contribution in this newsletter. So we like to include every newsletter something interesting, and we hope that everybody find something new inside. So in this newsletter we spoke a bit about also Drupalaton, and we also asked the people's contribution to ask to give a feedback about what they think about what kind of Drupal modules needs walkthrough, and we also invited them to this hangout. I think that's all, and we will send out our next bi-weekly newsletter in the next week. I can send a link for this. And maybe the link here, if you're interested.
Peter, I muted you because you were breathing and the microphone. Okay. Yes. So the link, I think we probably should put that also in the show notes afterwards, like after the, like in the description of the video or something. Yeah. Okay. Sign up link. I think then it's time to switch to Zolly. Right?
Okay. So, hey, I'm Solid, and I'm an iOS developer here at Economics, and I'm working on the Walkthrough.it iPad app. So, let me show it to you. First, I have to share my screen, but that should be fairly easy. I guess that's the one. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. So here's basically the app. We have. So first you see a welcome screen. However, we should log this user out and go with something smoother. So
Maybe before we really get deep, maybe we should quickly frame what this is about, right? So basically, one of the things that people have told us that you would be able to do with walkthroughs is to basically use them as a sales demo tool. So you would be able to take a series of walkthroughs that your salespeople can use to explain to people how Drupal works and what you use it for, and so on and so on. So the idea of the app was to create something that's also using the same infrastructure as WalkHub. So you can just use the same backend, so the same walkthroughs you can use, and to represent them in a framework that's easily to like just take around and show to people. And iPad is pretty cool for that. Like tablets are pretty good for that. So that's why we created an iPad app which you can go into a client's office and then just basically show them a series of walkthroughs that demonstrate how Drupal works or how distribution works and so on and so on. So that's the kind of background. That's why we use it. You could also just use it to explore walkthroughs themselves, obviously. And now over to you, Zolly.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, basically it's a walkthrough viewer. When you start the app, you see this welcome screen. You can log in with your WalkHub account, or later you can register just like this. But for now, let's just log in. We created a demo user called CKS. Just let him log in. And as you can see, the whole layout changed, because for each user, it's possible to link a branding or a theming, and that's going to change the layout. This CKS user was made for Commerce Kickstart. That's why you can see this Commerce Kickstart kind of layout, and but you can easily switch it. I ruined it for the first time and used the umbrellas theme.
You ruined the surprise! Oh no!
But you can use things like that, or let's just use our Pronomics simple layout, and that's it. Here you can see walkthrough set. That's how we imagine that walkthroughs that are connected or related to each other in some way, then this could be collected in a bunch. We call this a walkthrough set.
You could also use it, for example, to show a set of the same walkthroughs on a different site. So you can use it to create a set of walkthroughs for your first demo server and your second demo server and your third demo server. So like the way that it's built up, you can customize the branding of the app so that it looks like your company. And then you can have different servers for different salespeople that can then log in on their server and use it that way. Okay, go ahead.
So we have only now this walkthrough set for demoing at the moment. As you can see, when you select it, it opens it up. You can see a description on the left. You can get more if you want to by pressing the more button on the bottom right corner of the left panel. And on the right you can see a list of walkthroughs. These are the ones. And there's an information for each walkthrough. You can see its description and everything. If you click on the, you can see the information button, and by selecting the walkthrough you can simply start it on the wall. And here we are in the browser, see the walkthrough page, and we can just start it. And from now on it's working exactly as it works in the browser. Brings the page up, and by clicking next we can walk through our scenario. And pretty much that's it. And you can select several walkthroughs from a set, and if you have several sets, then they will be listed in the walkthrough set page. So thank you very much. That was my demonstration.
Thank you. Okay. Next is the developer stand-up. I guess that's also you, Zoli, plus Tamás and Cornel. I think, Cornel, you didn't really have much time in the last weeks.
No, not really.
but Tamás did some work. And Zoltán, well, basically we've seen your work, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe Tamás, you can give a short overview of what happened since the last stand-up?
Sure.
Hangout?
Sure, so mostly bug fixes and a few small features happened. I fixed a small... first of all, it's possible to create a WalkHub demo site through Simply Test Me. Then I fixed an error with mobile Safari, where Safari constantly threw up pop-ups that it can't open the URL. I fixed the issues when the step highlight was empty and the walkthrough should open a modal dialog. I added a show title checkbox to all steps, so now currently the steps does not have titles, but you can enable it to the individual steps. And there's also a flag to flag broken walkthroughs, and the step arguments can be now multi-line. So if you have a configuration field where you want to enter multi-line data, it's now possible. It was an import bug, so you probably have to remake those walkthroughs where this was an issue.
Where it was broken, yeah. Now you can see Tamás from two sides! Yay!
Now we can create a 3D model.
Wow, 3D Hangout. Oh, I don't want to. No, that was flashback. Okay. Okay, so that was
Yes.
a lot of stuff. So that basically those are most of the bug. Well, did you talk about like the send keys bug is also done, right?
Fixed.
Were there any other bugs that we fixed like that? Like we had some import script issues in Cache, and for everybody, like for people that were doing walkthroughs after Cache. So were there any other things?
What I got, I fixed what I got.
Right. Well, okay. Okay, so things should be a lot better already again. Then the next Feedbacks and questions. Do you want to take that one, Kata?
I can read the questions, but actually I'm not the one who can answer it. I like to ask the universe to answer them.
Yeah.
Actually, I choose a few questions which was sent by the community. So one of it, which was sent by one or it was suggested more people that are we planning to do a more user-friendly version of non-link tagging?
What do they mean with that? Non-link tagging.
Actually, I think they mean stats.
Right.
That we can create stats which are not included in the walkthrough, but we can create a stat and we could include it into a walkthrough, but non-link tagging means probably that we could tag only things which was tagged by Selenium.
I think probably it's because Selenium by default, when you click on a link, it grabs the link title, and I guess that's what they mean, and that's kind of a usability issue.
Selenium actually selects the best fit. So if you have just a link with a specific title, then it selects that. But if you have multiple links with the same title, then it looks for more specific benefits. Yeah. I'm not sure if we can do anything better than that. That's pretty sophisticated.
I think by default, since we're working with Selenium, we won't be able to change the recording process unless we really take ownership of the whole recording process or the automatic recording process. That said, I think we are thinking about a functionality where either in the player or in a separate interface, you just can click on elements and add a step for that. So we are definitely thinking about that part because right now it's basically you record it once and then the editing experience after that is very how to say well, it's not ideal because it's very texty. So you have to go and basically it's coding. It's in an interface. It's with a form, so it's a bit easier, but still it's not ideal. So we are definitely planning to do that. Not sure when though, but it's definitely on our backlog. Okay, next question.
We got some other suggestion that what if we just remove the title section of the bubble and we just ask what we think about this.
So I think walkthroughs can be used for two things. You can use them to make tours, or you can use them to make walkthroughs. And what's the difference? A tour for me is like a user interface exploration thing, where you have an interface and you say, here you have this area, and you can do this here, and there you have that area, and you can do that there. So it's basically kind of guiding people through a sort of swipe of the user interface. That's a tour. In tours, you normally, or the way I've seen it, or the way I imagine it, you probably have longer text, and where you also probably want titles, because so that people can see like, oh, this is about this section and it's titled that. But in walkthroughs, like real walkthroughs, those are that's task-oriented help. What I mean with that is it's a very focused, very narrowly focused help tool that says like, okay, you want to do X, for that you have to do step A, B, C, D. And in that case, you want really short descriptions and you don't want titles. So the thing that we've discussed already with Tamás is, and I don't know if you were there, Cornel also. So the thing we've discussed about that is to have a checkbox that allows you to hide the title field on a step. So that in a title, like probably for the author, that checkbox should be in the player. So you can just uncheck it there when you play it the first time when you add the text. Yeah. So yes. The short answer is yes. Then next.
Only one thing left. I don't know that we should discuss it or not. Back button. because
Ooh, yeah.
people suggested that it would be also useful. I know that we also spoke about that before, we also think about that, but we planning to include it in the later talk of the development process.
The back button is tricky because if you stick in one single user interface, like you're doing a tour of one single user interface, you can do a back button. But the problem is that for walkthroughs, what we're doing is that we have state changes of the system. So you might submit a form and then go to a second step that's dependent on the results of the first form. And if that form has already been submitted, you might be in a state where you just can't do a back. And this is the problem. So we can implement it, but we can't guarantee that it will be foolproof, that it won't fail. Like going back inside one interface probably is fairly easily to do. But it's tricky because you don't know what kind of transitions you had. So sometimes the back button might just fail. And I don't know what we should do with that. I think, Cornel, what do you think?
I think that context is a bit broader than just form submission and pages, because there are other context elements like cookies and JavaScript variables that influence the behavior of the page. So
I think probably what we could do is like a checkbox for hiding the back button. But it's getting a bit complicated then.
Well, yeah. I mean, technically we could do it, and we could trust the users that they know if it will work.
Yeah. Well, I think probably we can from the context we can see when it would break for sure, and then basically have something so that we can say like you can't go back here because you've just submitted a form or something like that. But we need to do some thinking about it. It's not that straightforward because of what we're trying to do, because of the tour, the task-oriented help. Okay. Got that? Then.
Perfect. Thanks. In the next part, I would like to ask Dion to speak a bit about our project when we ask our community to participate.
Yeah, we had a survey where we asked which parts of Drupal you think need walkthroughs. So far we received some answers like the Brightcode module, embedding a video or embedding playlists, and also about Drupal gardens, because people say that many people try it, but some end up using some other CMS instead because they can't find out how to use it.
I'll talk with people there about that. Actually, we should talk about that. But yeah. Do you want to announce the Drupal 7 stuff, or we do that later? Okay. We have some secrets, surprises for next time. Okay. So what's the plan for these? The Brightcove stuff, I guess we'll do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the gardens is a lot harder because that's a lot. That's really a lot. But wow, could be really nice, really interesting project. Yeah.
But these are really great suggestions. I mean, that's in this case we know that our community are interested in these areas. So
yeah. Who was it actually who asked for that?
I don't know, Kata?
Kata, do you know?
Actually, we didn't pass their name. We just got them to fill out the form.
Right.
So
we don't know.
But,
somebody, mystery person.
Somebody inside the community because it was inside the newsletter.
Right. Okay. Cool. Then the last section is walkthrough of the week. And what is the walkthrough of the week, Kata?
Actually, we have 3 days were made during Drupalaton. Also, Peter's walkthrough was made there during the period. And
So this week's walkthrough of the week is one from the community.
yeah.
Wow.
If you like, I can show my screen and I can show
Yeah,
one
cool.
bit. For example, Peter's walkthrough.
Yeah. Peter, that's okay with you?
It's okay with you?
You don't mind?
He's on mute, I think.
Did I mute him? No.
Just now.
Yeah, he's back. It's okay.
This is it. So this is your workflow. Actually, you documented how you can create a new content.
That's a nice one.
So in this case, you can see that you can select an article. You have to type a title. There are the bugs.
No. It's just a bit slow. Oh yeah, where are the bugs?
You can type content here.
Yeah.
And we could save here. And I think through this walkthrough we can see that it's really easy to create it because I think you learned how to use this kind of tool during the workshop.
Yeah. What do you think, Peter? How hard was it? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, there was a send keys, but that's fixed. That's fixed. That was one of the things that Tamás fixed this week. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen there's a documentation, the API? I don't think. Yes. Yes. Ah. Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Any feedback? Yeah. I think Tamás, you did something about it also, right?
Yes, I did, and then it turned out that there was a lot of false signals, so I turned it off temporarily, but this is something we are also working on.
Yeah. So we're working on error, like better error handling. Like right now, we didn't really have error handling, but yes, we're working on that. So for us, it was yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. To tell you the truth, for us it was very useful to actually have a bunch of people live testing it and seeing where it breaks. Because for me, I was already blind to the issues because I was able to get around them. So it was very useful to see, like for example, one person told me that we should do a check before we send you to the domain to verify if the WalkHub client is enabled on the site. Did you already work on that or not yet?
Yeah, it's tricky. But it's possible, but it's a bit more trickier.
Yeah. So that's something that is also in the backlog. So there were several really good feedbacks that we got. So we learned a lot. Next workshop will be a lot better. So yeah. So, do you see yourself using it anytime soon? Yeah. 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 No, that's, yeah. Right. Yeah. I think the lack of documentation about the bugs was because some of them we didn't know about yet. So we're working on that, and that was part of the workshop was part of the process of finding. So I think probably I should set expectations in the beginning of the workshops so that people know, like, okay, this is definitely beta, and there will be bugs. If you see something, tell us. Here's a list of the known bugs. So, but it's a lot is about interaction with people, seeing how they interact with the tool, and learning from it. So, yeah. With everything, like when you're building something new, especially like this, where there's quite a high level of complexity, it's you always need a few iterations, and we've already had 4 iterations, I think. So this, yeah. Actually, I think that brings me to the following. Tamás, I think you have an announcement to make.
Yeah, so we have just deployed a new version of WalkHub with the mentioned bug fixes and new features.
Ta-da! Okay. So it's live now?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were going to do it live.
Yeah, but I had to make it live in
Okay.
order to so able to demo his
Okay. So, but then basically we're already demoing from the new site. Okay, cool. So, Peter, one step further. Are you already signed up for the newsletter? Okay. So keep an eye on that. Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff coming. Like, I think we're gonna have the organic groups, probably the next release. And then the big announcement that I can't say yet. So yeah, good stuff. Thank you for coming on and for participating.
Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.